Yeah, this is about
Yeah, I know. Joel, yeah. We're just sitting back here. I'll take a I didn't jump in.
Are you needing this, or are you gonna go with that?
Excuse me, are you taking that to the cemetery? Okay, then I'll take that. Well, I don't know yet. Right now?
Well, you got two choices, you either drive yourself to the cemetery, or you rent a team.
Maybe I wrote a case.
Maybe it's not a decision.
Okay, when she gets there. So we're praising the next culture for you guys right now.
Say that it is.
I thought so. See my picture. Well.
There's multiple ways. I didn't want to give her multiple answers, so
Is your brother there yet?
Which one? You got lots of them.
Yes, yes. Yeah, we want to set front
So why are you consuming times for?
I told that when I got the card, like, oh, I first. Yeah, I did.
Did you get a car? I drove. Oh, I forgot.
Yes.
Well, I know my family had it. So look at all the way, you look at 11. She drove everywhere. Just when she was younger, I mean, she drove everywhere. Stuff, I knew that. She's a hard driver. Yeah. She even wasn't with him. Yeah, she wasn't with him, yeah. Just separated Ellen, you like, art, I know this online, they're really
That's my grandma.
Sorry. Oh, wow. That's good though. I mean, your dad was an income, I remember that. That's right. That what are you talking about? Yeah, sorry. Hi, Ann. Where's the Gavin? Come on. He's a bus. Yeah, he's a family for kids. They Hi. Good to see you. Glad you came. Thank you. Oh, that's okay. That's the road that you're here. Yeah. She's great rest. Yes, she is. Yep, she's a better place, that's for sure. Yes. Yeah, good lady. Yes. Oh, I know. She always shows. Hey, oh, yes. There was this, yeah, probably video.
Well,
Well, the thing with this, if you want That's true. Thank Please, please do. I appreciate it. I know. Yeah, this is Jenna and Kate's here. I'm not here. Yeah, Okay. Thank you for coming tonight. I appreciate this. I know my mom would. I guess I'm just but I'm not. Please say I'm trying to.
Chair clear back here.
Okay, yes, you come right here.
Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much, Judy, for coming. Wherever you want to sit.
You're fine.
Still practicing? that'll work with you too. Your son, don't you work with you? Be here today. Meeting one day.
Are you guys?
It just keeps coming. Oh. Okay. Just flip your head so hard, her glasses are fine. I think it's her attitude. Oh, that's the first time they've been watching. You don't know where they've been. That's right.
That's they might have.
That's just sad.
A little? We got her some coconut water.
Yeah.
And she liked that. So that was the main. I think they were trying to start that guy all their substantial. Those protein drinks aren't very user friendly. Yeah. I won't even tell you what my wife says the aftertaste is like. I always think a couple of scoops of ice cream in there really kind of helps. And that's potassium.
You always have to feel your
Once bitten, twice shy.
I thought
We think our parents know everything until we find out they don't.
Yeah.
Why?
she do things like
Everybody wants to It's okay. It's okay. This is what they.
Hello. You guys mostly all know me, but I'm Chuck Davis. I'll be officiating today. I'd like to thank everybody that come to remember and listen to some comments about Doris. I'm glad you're here, the family's here. We're glad that you're here. Morris, you're very, very generous person and a very loving person. She loved her family a lot. So today we're going to start out with an opening prayer by Linda Graves, and then we'll have a musical song, Knowing You'll Be There. First speaker will be Adam Hibbs. Second speaker, Jeffrey Hibbs. Third speaker, Braden Hibbs. And then we'll have musical numbers by the Alders, Roshan and Calvin. And then Kathy will give the eulogy after that.
Our Father in heaven, we are grateful that we are able to gather on this beautiful morning to celebrate the life of Loris. We're so grateful that we were able to have her on this earth for 95 years and to watch her example of how to live a Christ-like life, to be of service, to be loving, to be kind, to be generous, and to have fun along the way. We ask a special blessing to be with the family as they grieve her passing, that we may all be comforted in the knowledge that Loris has left her earthly body and has returned back to her heavenly Father and is surrounded by those who loved her that have passed before. We ask this spirit to bless throughout this evening as we celebrate the life of a wonderful person. And we ask these things in the name of our Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
The other day I passed the place you always like to go, and I picked up the phone to call. I thought you'd want to know, but I forgot you weren't there. I miss you so, Lord, these days, that I'm reminded of your smile and the funny things you'd say. I see you most at Christmas. You were like a little kid. You always loved a good surprise. Now I must admit that I long more for heaven than I ever did before. You give me one more reason, and each day I want it more. Knowing we can spend a lifetime reminiscing on the past, knowing I will see your face again where tender moments last. It makes me want to go there, knowing I won't be alone, knowing you'll be there makes it easy to go home. You left a group of fishermen, somehow left me too. Though I have felt you many times, so you saw me through. I've always longed to feel your arms and look into your eyes and talk forever, me and you, somewhere in paradise. Knowing we can spend a lifetime reminiscing on the past. Knowing I will see your face again, where tender moments last. It makes me want to go there, knowing I won't be alone. Knowing you'll be there makes it easy to go home. Knowing you'll be there makes it easy to go home.
Well, good morning, everyone. Beautiful morning. Thank you all for being here. It's awesome to see you guys. I know my grandmother will be excited to see you all too. She'd be hugging you all, and sorry for saying y'all in Texas. Living down there to get that accent. Because I know that's what she would do. She would just love everyone, hug everyone, be with everyone. She showed that love constantly. My mom and dad, my brother is standing anymore. She expressed her love in many different ways. For most of my youth, she lived in Des Moines. Her and her husband and Lori, they would travel down here to church and to see all of us continuously. Whether it was athletic competitions, celebrate birthdays, holidays, and many other great things. And that love she showed us grandchildren, Jeff, Bryn, and I, extended into our adulthood. I remember a letter I got from her when I was in Air Force basic training. A lot of stress in basic training. But she wrote about a time where she would watch me stand on her porch. I watched the F-16s take off from the Wynn Airport. She lived about half a mile from there, so it was awesome, that awesome memory when I had a lot of stress at that point. And she always gave us encouragement as grandchildren, especially during our college years. Some of you may or may not know that Grandma Loris was a huge Hawkeyes fan. If you had her home while a game was going on, football, basketball, if they scored points, she'd be jumping out of the chair. Pretty high, for how short she was. And so that was a lot of enjoyment for her. And she was kind to me when I informed her that I would be attending Iowa State University. And we counted that cycle. Yeah. So I think she got more pumped for the Cyhawk series football games after that. So great competition. I have a lot of great memories of my grandma, just as any grandchild would. She'd be out in 100-degree weather, working in the garden and not wanting to take a break. Her big family feast, Thanksgiving, Christmas, typical holidays, awesome food. Mr. Turkeys, they were awesome. She would join us for camp adventure up at Grafton. They were awesome. Her and Grandma Miriam, these two ladies would have a ball out there. As you might have heard if you're at her funeral, that was spoken of. Clouds. Grandma Loris loved clouds, and she had this big cabinet full of clouds. And, yeah, I don't know if that was offered to me or not upon her death, but, they were glorious. And she loved, in fact, everyone's birthday, there was a picture on the screens, of her with the clowns, also. And before her memory started fading, as we know, she got very ill. She would continuously remind me that I would climb her tree in Des Moines and throw acorns at her head. I remember doing that. Why would I, Angel Adam, do such a thing to my grandmother? So many awesome and great memories. But one of my greatest memories with my grandmother was when she attended my marriage to Casey 11 years ago at the Mountain Temple in Illinois. Being there with her and sharing that moment, obviously for Casey and I, but her combination, that brought us a lot of joy. And in the temple, that joy is eternal. Very eternal in that building. And yes, at a moment right now, yes, death has separated us from her temporarily. However, I truly believe, it is my belief, that because of the resurrection of Jesus Christ and his atonement, our Savior Jesus Christ, that this temporary things it's temporary. Now I know I'll not only see this, but I believe that our family will be together forever. That we're grateful. Grateful for the great kind of happiness that our Father in heaven has created for us, that families can be together forever. Like any grandchild, I miss her very, very much. Just as I miss my grandma Mary and Grandpa Fred and miss Grandma Loris's husband Maury. But I know we'll all be together again one day. And again, I want to thank you all for being here. What a very special moment. And I say this in Jesus Christ's name.
I'd like to stand up here and talk about a few things. First thing is my suit jacket here. This was paid for by my grandmother for my great-grandmother's funeral in '96 while I was in high school. So I don't know how many men can still get their suit jackets from high school. Right now I can't. I'm going to talk about a topic that I don't think is rarely mentioned in a funeral. I thought a lot about over the past even a few years on what I would speak, because I know I'd be asked to speak at my grandmother's funeral. And I'm going to talk about her and also about her mother, and understand what I'm going to speak on. I'm going to call this little talk, I'm going to call it the last piece of the puzzle. If we would have an analogy of our lives being a puzzle of all the things we accomplish, the lives we touch, and the things that we do, and the things that people do for us as well, it could make a big puzzle. And at some point in our lives, we're going to pass on. It's a guaranteed thing. But there's always the last piece. And with my great-grandmother, her mother, she had a stroke and for several years was in pain and wasn't able to walk. And there was times where I just kind of wondered, why did my great-grandmother be in that shape? And it took me a while to kind of understand, shortly after her passing, what I call the final piece of the puzzle for her. And it wasn't about her. I feel that her work was probably over not that long after that stroke. But the thing was, for her, was to see change in her family, her prosperity, her children. At the time when she had that stroke, none of her daughters at the time were active in church. But not too long after that, about a year and a half later, one gets active in church. Another daughter becomes active in church with my great-grandmother. And my great-grandmother saw one of her daughters join the faith that I am a part of about a year prior to her passing. And my grandmother, at the time of my great-grandmother's passing, was ready to become active in church. And so I do believe that was the last piece of the puzzle for her, was to see her children getting involved in church again. With my grandmother, obviously many of us know that she's had mental decline over the past several years, and unfortunately has has been in a nursing facility for the last few years. But what was her last piece of the puzzle? I always kind of wondered what that would be. And I truly believe that the last piece, once again, on her was prosperity. And it is my wife coming to be part of our family right at the end. I truly believe that you'll see many great and wonderful things that you would see in my grandmother, that you would see in my wife, Donna. I think her coming into this world, just coming into Iowa, not the world, but to Iowa, to be part of our family, and to bring a similar legacy that my grandmother has, I believe is her last piece. And my grandmother lastly wanted me to talk about this. She always mentioned, she wanted to mention the funeral, about her caring for me. I lived not too far away on Linden growing up, and anyway, I always had a fascination for trains. Even sitting here, my kindergarten teacher probably even knows at that time, a fascination for trains. But anyway, we would walk, it's about 6 blocks from Linden up to, I think it's 11th Street, to where the train tracks are. And we would sit in maybe a half hour and maybe get lucky and watch a train, and that fascinated me, and we'd walk back home. Well, one time we walked up there and we waited a while, no train. But probably about a block and a half, I got too tired and told my grandmother, being 5 years old, "Grandma, I'm too tired to walk back home." And she's like, "Well, you gotta walk back home." I was like, "Well, I'm too tired." So I'm just like, "Just take me home, grandmother," and put my arms in her. 5 years old, I'm not 1 or 2. And she picks me up and nearly walks me home. That's what type of lady she was for us, especially for her grandkids and family, and being the caretaker and being able to help her family out even in tough times. And I believe this in the name of thy Son, Jesus Christ, amen.
Good morning, you guys. It's kind of sad to see my grandma pass away. I guess that's how it goes. She was there for us quite a bit. We were young, and she did everything for us. So, there's a picture of the snowman on here. Her and Mark made that snowman one morning. It was snowed so hard that she couldn't go to work, so they made a snowman that's taller than she is, actually. So, but one of the things she wanted us to remember was that she was #1 teller in Iowa. The first half was the second half. She was #1 in Des Moines. That's kind of honor. She told us that constantly. But, I mean, she made us cookies, took us to the mall, did all kinds of stuff for us. So I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Oh Lord, my God, when I in awesome wonder consider all the works thy hands have made, I see the stars, I hear the rolling thunder, thy power throughout the universe display. Then sings my soul, my Savior God, to thee. How great thou art, how great thou art. Then sings my